Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to share with you that one of my favorite activities for the holiday season and something that's brought a lot of joy to my personal family and a great group of friends is Operation Christmas Child. The history of Samaritan's Purse is really remarkable, and what they do around the world truly brings joy and happiness to people. So I'm pleased to introduce you to John, and he's going to share with us his involvement. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is John Brigner, and together with my wife Julie, we are the regional area strategists for Operation Christmas Child on the west coast of Florida. Our area goes from Weeki Wachee all the way down to Punta Gorda. So we have a couple churches in that area that we support with the project and just try to promote the project everywhere we can.
And how long have you been involved?
This is our 21st year being involved.
Really?
We started just like you, packing a shoebox. And then we got more involved, and 20 years later, we're the regional area strategists for the whole west coast of Florida.
So now I know what to prepare myself for in 21 years, right? I'll need
exactly
churches
right.
and a territory. So what ours was really our kids swim team decided to do a community service project together, and a good friend of mine, she knew how to do it. There's a little bit of technique to get started, but this is maybe our 4th or 5th year. But what it's come to is when you get a bag from an event, like a swag bag, and it has sunglasses in it, or it has a rubber bracelet in it, or something like that, we just keep a bag in our pantry and we throw it in there. And then if you would happen to let your child have a Happy Meal every once in a while and you can get the toy back from them, that's a great saver. And then we love to look for all the BOGO things throughout the year and just think socks is a big thing, right?
Yep. School supplies, when they go on sale, we picked up just yesterday at Walmart pencils for 25 cents.
Yeah,
a pack of 24 pencils for 25 cents. So less than a penny a piece.
Yeah, so going from like a really good deed to help support a group of people to like it's the kill you love, the shopping part of it can get really competitive. What I got for this much, or bouncy balls, if they come out of one of the turning machines at a restaurant or something. Not that we've been at restaurants much, but tell me, John, how is the pandemic going to impact this project?
We really don't know. We're trusting the Lord to make sure, and just trying to be as normal as possible. This is something that you can do in the comfort of your home. And even if you don't want to go out and shop, there's an option to build a shoebox online. So you can go to SamaritanFirst.org, build a box online, and for $25, you can upload your picture, you can upload a letter, and you can do it right there in your own house.
I know last year we had an insane group text that was, I got this, I bought that, I'll be there at this time. It's interesting to find out how many people have plastic shoe boxes that they, at one time, I think were putting their shoes in, which I wish I was ever that organized that I put my shoes away in boxes. But we have gotten so many nice donations of those. And we understand that if you can use a plastic container that's the right dimensions, like provided on the website, that it becomes something that made one of our sons very sad. He was pretty young, and I said, well, they could use it like for a bowl, or they could use it for a wash basin, or they could use it to keep their items in. And he was, devastated at the simplicity of something that he would take for granted. But I think the packing parties, ours is going to be outside and socially distanced. We are definitely all the way upgraded to plastic boxes this year. We kept shoe boxes for a while, but I know about, I want to say late March last year, something popped up on our group text that said, this is where the boxes arrived. And, to see that tracking and to be reminded so much longer after we had finished it. Do you have a favorite story or situation that you could share, or if you've ever heard from a recipient or another church like something that would compel people to want to help support us. You're doing your job, my group's going to do ours, but how could we get other people to feel so good about helping in this way?
Well, I'll go back to your son's story about how he felt bad. And this is a great story. My wife and I were privileged to go on a distribution trip. And we went in 2012, we went to Uganda. And to see the children, their eyes light up, and just the booklet, the little booklet that they get with the gospel message, that was the gift. They thought, wow, we have colored paper. And they were like, woo! And then they saw the shoe boxes. And we were like, they shared them out, and then they opened them up, and it was just the joy on their faces. And the simplest things were the most impactful. And we watched a little girl, there was a Ziploc bag that had a bar of soap and a washcloth inside. And she popped open that Ziploc bag and stuck it over her face and just took in the freshness of that. And she zipped it up and stuffed it underneath her everything else in her box because she didn't want anybody else to see that, because it was such a gift for her. And one of the girls said, "Is this what the United States smells like?"
Oh, John.
And so it is just so, in this country, we are so blessed and so privileged. And we just are called to share that with the rest of the world.
It's been so much fun for us. And when my friend put me in touch with you, one of my coworkers, I was like, oh, great, I'm getting an expert, because we've been winging it. Although we have a special story too, and I wish I could give you the years, but one of the women in our group, her dad was one of the Secret Service agents for President Carter, and had been on a trip for a delivery, and was able to share with his children, who are my age, over the years how that was. And like you said, to see their faces and to receive those boxes and to smell something clean that, you know, we can go in any gas station bathroom typically in America and there'll be soap and water, right? But for them, it's so different. So what do you think? Do you have a memory or idea of what's the most unique thing you've seen put in a box?
Let's see, unique. You know, the most practical items are the best. Soap, washcloth, school supplies. We've heard stories and stories, and don't worry about if it's a big pack of toothbrushes or whatever. We've heard stories and stories over and over again of how that box got exactly to the right family. And I think one of the best stories, and this was 2 years ago, and I have to preface it with one of the SP, Samaritan First employees was there, and he was sharing this story, and he told us, he goes, whenever you tell this story, tell them that Chris Swanson was here. And so he was in Mexico City, and they were doing a distribution at a church, and all these people came around, and this little girl shows up holding, she was probably 13 or 14 years old, and she was holding a baby. And she came in, walked in and said, oh, can we hold your brother? She was like, this is my baby. And they were like, okay. And they sat her down, and they handed out the shoe boxes, and the baby got a box and she got a box. And they said, 1, 2, 3, everybody opened their boxes, and the smiles and the laughing, everything. And they looked at this little girl, and she was crying. And they walked over and said, isn't it great that Jesus has something special in this box for you? And she goes, you don't understand. You don't understand. And they're like, well, can you explain it to me? And she said, 3 years ago, her uncle and aunt disappeared. Now, in Mexico City, if people disappear, they're either been sold into slavery or killed or whatever. And so she had lost her family. And you don't know what had happened with this little girl, but she opens up her shoebox and she pulls out a note with a picture. And it was, she goes, "This is my aunt and my uncle and my cousin."
No way.
And they had gotten to California and they had sent back shoeboxes. And God had moved that box into that little girl's hand to give her hope. And that's why we pack shoeboxes, to give children hope. And what more than this year do children need hope around the world?
Absolutely. And I think the children here need to be able to do something to feel that they've made an impact. But
Absolutely.
that is an amazing story. And that truly is, I've done tons of reading and watched a bunch of the videos and all that, because this has been something that our family has chosen to do. But I've never heard something like that. And I do believe that that happens because it's meant to happen. So we just sent out our email. We got our Sign Up Genius out so that everyone knows what to bring over to us. And then I guess ultimately it's going to end up with you, right? I'm not on the drop-off team for my group, so I don't actually know where they go. I think it's a church somewhere in Countryside maybe, but I can connect with you to make sure they get to the right place.
Yep, that's right. There's drop-off locations, and you can go on the website. There's a drop-off locator, and it'll give you, type in your zip code, and it'll give you different options that are close to you. And there's probably 30 in the Tampa Bay area.
Oh, great. Well, we'll be sharing this video later today, and the website will be attached to it so people can easily find it. But thank you for your time. Thank you for what you give to the world at this time of year and for 21 years. I'm so impressed and really so very happy to meet you. Thank you, John.
God bless you. Thank you much.